Kingdom citizen of Wisconsin. Kingdom citizen, yeah. Kingdom citizen, kingdom citizen, yeah. Kingdom citizen of Wisconsin. Kingdom citizen, yeah. Kingdom citizen. Greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is your host, Dr. David D. King, and I am here on Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin, and I have three brothers with me today, and we're going to have some fun, you guys. But first, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, talk about where they're from, what they do, and then we're going to come up with Think About It Tuesday topic, all right? So we're going to go clockwise. So that means you up.
I'm up. Wow, what to even say? Well, first off, hello everyone. My name is Jemiah Malik. I'm from Texas. I'm an app developer, music artist. We do a lot of business, so everything's about the business. God's given us a lot of gifts and talents and abilities. So, that's who I am. Jemiah Malik. You know me for the music and the business, but more so business and apps. I make an app, so got lots of fun.
My name is Chris Ashman. I'm also from Texas, San Antonio, military vet, handyman by trade, currently business consulting. That's why we're up here in Milwaukee, and I'm just thankful to be here.
And last but not least, Brandon Sidney. So feel free, you can follow me on Facebook. We are in town right now with AT&T. Got sent out here to Milwaukee for exclusive promotions just for the residents of Wisconsin and then, of course, individual business owners. So if you are interested, please feel free to contact me, Chris Ashman, or Jemiah Malik, and we'll be happy to help you guys.
All right, y'all want to tell a little more about your business before we get to the nitty gritty?
Our focal point in the business and what we do is mostly for small business owners. We help anything as far as telecommunications, direct marketing, as far as business owners that want to build your digital footprint. We partner with AT&T and a company called Webware AI. All ways that we can, like I said, just to help business owners cut their costs, get better service. It's anything that we can do to be helpful.
Yes. Anything? I know you say you also do app development. So
Yeah, I do app development. I feel like doing the phone store is another thing too. I just do it so much, But I have the app development. But before I was doing app development, I was doing iPhone repair. I was like, I can say this. Long story short, I was 18 years old and I was into music my whole life, and then I had to figure out how to make real capital. So I got into iPhone repair, and I started my entrepreneurial journey. Now I'm 27, so it's been about a good 10 years that I've been focusing on entrepreneurship. In about a year from now, so I think 10 years that I've been doing entrepreneurship. So that turned into doing phones on a bigger level, iPhone repair, and now we work with AT&T. I work with AT&T Business, and we talk to business owners. We get a lot of phones out every day, a lot of internet out, and it feeds into everything I do as an app developer as well. I like talking to people. I like connecting to people. I like traveling with business. So, I'm all for the adventure. A lot of stuff's on the internet, but, I live a real life that's very much centered on productivity and making a living out of what you're capable of as a human. So, yeah.
Well, I do want to throw in, since we are in town, we are growing the AT&T footprint. Of course, I know in the past, AT&T probably hasn't been the best for some people. So the reason we got sent out is due to the complaints that people have been vocalizing. So another thing that we're doing is we're opening a brand new market here in Milwaukee. So if you know anybody who is really looking to get into a new position, look for the entrepreneur mindset, want to grow in their own time, and also make the money to be able to survive these times that we're in. Feel free, contact me. We have a new owner opening an office. Name's Darius Sessions. You can feel free to find him on Facebook as well. I'll also try to share the information with Mr. King here, and he can put that into the bio for you guys.
Amen.
And my brother let the cat out the bag. You know, nobody knew we had a new market opening up. Y'all are the first to find out. It's a big deal.
Big
Big
Really
deal.
big
big
It actually
deal.
is.
Lots of millions.
So, gentlemen, are y'all ready?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
let's get
I'm
to it.
excited.
Let's talk about some things.
Yeah,
Let's
y'all
think about
Talk
it.
about it Tuesday.
think about it Tuesday.
Think
Yes, sir.
Think about some
it.
things.
We talk about it.
We got to
We
talk
gonna
about
talk, they
it.
gonna think.
Yeah, we gonna talk. They gonna think.
All right.
So, gentlemen, here's the topic. As we see today, and during election times, we see both parties come inside our community and tell us what they're going to do for us, and nothing gets done for us. So, my question to you guys is, how long, and especially as us four black men, how long does man is the head? God called man to be the head, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we understand that the order is God, Christ, man, then woman, right? So let me ask y'all this question. How long do you think it's going to take the men, the black men, to stop drinking the Democrat or the Republican Party Kool-Aid and turn to the middle as independent men? And do you think if they go to the middle as independent men, I know it's more than one question, but if it could come in as an independent man, do you think they'll have a better shot as like the Bible says, fathers returning their hearts back to their sons and the children's hearts back to the father? Because it's a lot. I can go on because it's a lot that goes with it, right? When Lyndon B. Johnson did War on Poverty, it kicked the black man out of the house, right? And it made our black women marry the government, right? And now the government is trying to raise our children, right? But at the same time, they telling us they there for us. So let me shut up and let I want to hear what y'all got to say, because look at y'all done got
I was about to say, yeah, my brain, my wheels is turning.
Yeah,
So.
I would say indoctrination.
we definitely indoctrinated.
It's a real thing. So
No, right.
I definitely feel like we could really move more towards the middle instead of being on the far left or the far right. Obviously, there's things that we can tend to agree with on both sides, but you can't, I would say leaning either way, just specifically, it's not going to be beneficial for anybody. That's pretty much just teaching you or telling you a certain way that you have to think if you're going to lean in either one of those directions.
Right.
So I feel like nobody's going to grow without independent thinking. So you might as well start independently in the first place.
Oh, I like that. That was kind of that was one of those. I'm gonna put some peroxide on that question and
Let it sizzle for a second.
yeah, let it sizzle. Then I'm gonna bandit it up.
Mhm.
You know, I think, and then you guys, y'all ain't off the hook, so y'all gonna have to jump in this as well.
Oh yeah.
But I really think that, and I have seen where parties promise, right? But if you are an independent thinker, you're not a fit for the parties because you got to follow what they want. You got to say what they want, and they all talk about pointing the finger at one to the other side, right? And then you got one side, they say they want to shrink government, but they have no solutions on how they want to shrink government. And if they just go ahead and shrink government, then those people that are on the biggest drug in our country, you know what the biggest drug in the country is? The
No,
biggest
it's not
drug. The biggest drug. You got to speak up. We need to hear you.
Oh, yeah. What's the microphone over here?
Which one is it?
I would say just the government, depending on the government.
That's it. Dependence is the biggest
Yeah.
drug out here. And they make it like that, right? Because what they do is say, I'm going to give you this. But if you try to grow, I'm going to snatch everything from you.
Yep, take it right back.
You know, so as young men, entrepreneurs, business owners, y'all thriving, y'all got free reign, y'all can flow, y'all can go places and do things. and it benefit you guys the most on your rolling, right?
Yeah.
So, but I thought you guys couldn't do that.
Oh no, you can, but you have to put the work in. Like sometimes you're gonna struggle,
Right.
and in order to like you appreciate things a lot more when you do go through that struggle. So I would rather struggle and go through that and deal with it and learn from it than somebody just say, "Here you go," and I have to think a certain way or I'm limited to how far I can grow. So yeah, I'll deal with the struggle any day over just being handed something and told I have to believe a certain way, otherwise I can't have it. So
That's probably one of the biggest things I
what is
like about our
the
business.
law of lid
Yep.
is
There
exactly
you go.
that you can only go as far as that lid. If they have the lid on, you can only jump that high.
That's right.
So I'd rather not have the lid on and be able to go as far as I want.
So, who put the lid on?
The government.
The government, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that I love, because I'm glad I ran into you brothers and we get the chance to do this. You know, I was talking to a young man in my office. I told him, I said, I started off washing dishes. I retired managing $1 million companies. So, but they said I was black, and they said a white man was holding me down.
So, yeah, if you believe that,
Yeah.
that's
But
the
if
whole
that-
thing, right?
Right, but you got to remember that's what they feed us,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
They-
They feed us the idea,
Right.
right? The
just
thing
a-
is,
it's a
it's
victim.
only becomes a real thing once you sip the Kool-Aid.
Once you, oh, I love that. Sip the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Everybody can say, "Oh yeah, look, government's in charge of this, government in charge of that." I know that when I wake up in the morning, I'm responsible for how my bills get paid, how I got to do this, that, and the third. Everything that's going on in my life is completely under my control.
Okay.
Right? If Uncle Sam comes in tomorrow and says, "I'm gonna do this, that, and the third," well, until it makes it to my doorstep, my day doesn't change.
Right.
So, am I dependent on Uncle Sam? No, I have to go talk to everybody. How I make my money is the conversations that I have. If I'm not out talking, if I'm not out actively doing something, I don't have anything coming in. I don't have a welfare check waiting on me. I have a disability check, but I went in the military for that. I earned that.
Yes. So somebody says, because we got a comment, he says you can only go as high with a limited handout, with a limited handout.
Or ask for it.
But you can help. Wait a minute. But you can help the next one to go further than you by giving them the same tools, but with freedom.
Yes, sir. We call that servant style leadership.
Yeah. But you know, one of the things we gotta tell people is this.
This is my cousin.
That's your
This
cousin.
is my cousin.
Okay.
What's up, Malcolm?
So what's up, Malcolm?
What up, man?
So and I like what he said about that. But you know, I was sitting on the porch. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all. I was sitting on the porch, smoking a joint. I was sitting on the porch, smoking a joint, drinking a 40 ounce with a group of my friends. And they kept saying the white man holding us down. And I'm sitting there like, ain't no white man here.
It's just us.
So how can a white man hold us down? Now I had a choice to stay on the porch or get off the porch.
Hop off the porch, man.
You know,
Get off the
Okay.
and, you know, and so I try to get people to say we got to learn to choose courage over comfort.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we
We
No,
we
that's
literally
what-
have
Yeah.
saying
It's
Hey.
pasted above the door in our office.
That's-
Growth never comes from places where you're comfortable.
Hey,
Yes,
man,
bro.
these heights get scary. So what?
Do it scared.
they get scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets scary.
Everybody's scared to fail. Everybody's scared to think that they're gonna risk their life. They're gonna risk everything they got to do what they want to
But
do.
I would be more scared to stand exactly where I'm at.
Exactly.
That
Right.
just tells me my whole life I lived it, did it. And
My
I-
fear
I
of
had
regret will always
no
be bigger
growth.
than my fear of failure.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, I don't think the height is the fear. I think the self-confidence is the problem.
Yeah.
Because if for me, I can walk in the room and Trump can be in there and I'm the most important person in the room.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The mayor of Milwaukee could be in the room and the governor of Wisconsin, who's the governor now, which I'll be next. But I walk in that room, I'm the most important. Nobody is above me. You know, and I'm not above nobody, but my mindset and my mom put that in me. Ain't nobody greater than you, and you ain't better than nobody. So when you understand that, and I have the same opportunity as somebody else, if I want to study hard, if I want to take those chances in life, we got to do that. But when you look at both parties, okay, I'm gonna show y'all how both parties do. Y'all ready for a quick test?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm finna read all three of y'all mind at the same time.
Okay.
Look at it. He's like,
I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm ready.
All right, all three of y'all pick a number from 1 to 10, and all I want you to tell me is, I got it.
I got it.
Add 5 to that. Okay, add 1 more to that. Now subtract the first number y'all thought about. And all y'all have the number of man, which is 6.
I'm gonna have to check my man.
Check your math then, because it's 6.
It is his 6.
And I'm going to tell you why. I just took 3 independent critical thinkers and took your thought and gave you mine.
It always
Yeah, you're going to always end up.
Yes.
And that's the same thing what they do.
6.
Huh? For example, the Democrat Party always told the blacks, we're here for the poor, we're here for the poor. But instead of us getting better, we're getting poor.
I mean, yeah. You see it.
Take money from the poor.
Right. So to the fact where they're taking our houses and giving us subsidized living in Section 8, but when they take Section 8, then what's next? Concentration camp?
I mean, I feel like that was like the original plan, but something went wrong. But they would like that to still be the energy, but like we got a lot more power than. It's not like Bug's Life, you know. We're not just gonna just tip over that easy. You know, I feel like I don't know. I'm coming from Texas. I just feel like when it start getting a little bit sticky, you know, people do come outside like, nah, I'm good. Nah, my kid's good too. We straight, you know. But you got the other people who are in fear too. So you know, it's like I feel like, you know, when it comes really like when Ish about to hit the fan, like Ish, you know, I feel like people come outside.
No.
I feel like they come and stand up.
Stand up, but I think we're not standing up for the right thing.
No.
I think we're standing up for what they want us to stand up for.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the emotional reactions?
The emotional, yeah,
Because we got to cut all that out. We don't want. I don't have no parts in that.
no, you don't have no parts in emotional reaction.
We can't stamp that. I know people who do. You know, we can't stamp that. If you react, like if you're a reactionary, period, you should cut it out.
I feel it all leads, I really do feel like, back to the nuclear family being broken.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of men and a lot of people are more emotional because they don't know they weren't taught how to like really control those emotions.
Or they wasn't taught how to research.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too crucial.
How to think for yourself.
How you think for yourself. Because I go to some people and they tell us, oh man, I'm for the blacks. I'm really for the blacks. And I say, okay. So they asked me a question one day. They was like, would you want them to teach black history? And I said, no. And they said, no. I said, I want them to teach American history. And they was like, well, why American history? I was like, do you know who Bath Reeves is? And they'd be like, Bath Reeves? Ain't never heard of him. But yeah, Bath Reeves is the original Lone Ranger.
I don't even know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The original Lone Ranger, but
They
rebranded.
You see, this is stuff that we need to talk about.
George Washington wasn't the first president. John Hanson was.
Yeah, my mama told me about that.
Yeah. Not only that, Uncle Tom was a real person.
But I didn't know his name. And I didn't
Josiah
know about
Hanson.
I didn't know about him.
Yeah, Uncle Tom freed more slaves than Harriet Tubman and opened up a school for them.
I didn't know.
But they don't want to tell you that. They didn't want, if you read American history, you'll read Paul Revere went one way, say the British is coming, and the black man went the other way, saying the British is coming.
You know about that?
They would rather keep. I feel like they keep you. They keep you in a victim mentality.
That's it.
And we can't be victims.
We always a victim. And here's the funny part about being a victim. They always bring us back to slavery. But do you know how many successful slaves after slavery became successful?
Like
Made
Wall
it
Street.
made it to U.S. Congress, U.S. senators in the 1800s.
Mhm.
And you know, not only that, but a lot of blacks don't even know that there was a Civil Rights Act done in 1875. And they took it to court. And the Democrats took it to court in 1883 and got it knocked out. But it was specifically for blacks. This Civil Rights Act in 1964 is not just for blacks. That's why you got the LGBTQ community using the Civil Rights Act. You got other religion using the Civil Rights Act, because all of that is in the Civil Rights Act.
Valid.
I can't get the exact dates. Wasn't 100% prepared, but of course I know, even though both parties have been completely hijacked, a lot of black families don't even know that the Democratic Party wasn't the party that wasn't built for them in the first place. The original,
Right.
The Republican Party was started by blacks. But at the end of the day, both have been hijacked completely.
I say it's one bird's two wings, same wing.
Yeah.
Because they're not there for the people anymore. They're there for the party, and they're pushing party's agenda. And that's why you got a group of people that can't prosper, because of the fact that while they're fighting, you're the casualty of their war. Yeah. And so small business owners are the casualty. Why? Because you got big corporations that have come into a community. When you had mom and pop stores and you put a Walmart there, you killed the mom and pop stores, right? You got holistic. You got big farm. Ain't letting you do no holistic stuff. They don't even want you to talk about grounding like we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, man.
They don't want you. What do you mean grounded? You can't say grounded.
Natural tea.
Yeah, natural tea.
Yeah, we got the sea moss herbs and the natural tea on us right now.
Jamaica One Love.
You know what I'm saying?
Jamaica One Love.
Yeah, man. There, biatch. You know what I'm saying?
But they don't want you to talk about these things, right?
No, I agree.
And so, and then we'll say we got to vote for the lesser two evils.
Oh my God, I've heard that so many times. My family was trying to get me. It was like the lesser. I'm like, bro, I don't know which way. I listen to y'all. I messed up. I listen
It's
to
not
myself.
the lesser of two.
Up.
They have a third choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. You don't have to go with one of the two.
right. But you know what? Like you said earlier, we've been indoctrinated.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even think. Most people thinking, why you running independent? You can't win. Who can't win?
That's a small mindset.
You still got to run no matter what.
Yeah. Gerald Ford had 3 auto dealerships, right? The first 2 failed. Where you get his information from? For the black man that had his dealership. But they don't want to talk about those kind of things, right? So when people tell me, people told me, and y'all not here, y'all not from Milwaukee. So in 2001, after 9/11, all the way till COVID, people kept saying there is no job. We need more money. There's no job. There's no jobs. I've been giving jobs out from 2001 till today. I'm still giving out jobs, helping people with jobs, right? At one time, I was transporting 450 people a day to work. While they was hollering, there's no jobs. But the ones that was hollering, there's no jobs, were the elected officials. And you know who family I was helping? The elected officials. They were sending their family to me. They know. But here's the thing. When they have these Black Excellent Awards and all of that, you know what's funny about it? Not even recognized. You know why? Because I didn't choose their side. So if you don't choose the side, we don't acknowledge you. But thank God I wasn't doing it to be acknowledged. But those are the games you play, right? You go to the other side, and if you can't be that poster child, because the Republican side now are looking for Black conservatives right now, right?
They're looking for a narrative.
Yeah. So we need Black conservatives to come over here because we the one freed you. And my problem with that is they won't even talk truth about the Civil War. Because the Civil War wasn't about freeing slaves. It was about economics. You're taking my labor away. Right?
Exactly.
So watch this. When you look in the 13th Amendment, there's a loophole in the 13th Amendment.
Like when you go to prison, they get free labor out of it.
Yes. Because it says in the 13th Amendment, you're no longer allowed to have slaves or free labor unless they incarcerated. So what did they do after they signed it? They arrested 800,000 blacks so they can get their labor, both from the South and the North. They get that labor because it's a business. You're getting that free labor. So when you say, well, we freed you, okay, that's nice. But why is the loophole there? And if the Civil Rights Act was for black, why is all that other stuff in there? Why is religion in there? Why is sex in there? If it was just for the blacks.
See, the funny thing about stuff like that, it goes back to the whole dependence thing, right? The moment we do things under the dependence of man in any form, it comes with a sense of, and I'm going to say the wrong word. The word I'm thinking was fallible, but like the noun version of that word. So yeah, exactly. Hey, look, I'm not an English grad, but the thing is, anything that man does will fall.
Right.
Will tear apart.
Yes.
It will get taken away somehow, some way. We don't know the methods of how it's going to happen, but that's just how it is. The things that we do are designed to end.
Right.
Right. So yeah, they say, hey, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. But like you said, the loophole's sitting there right there in our face.
In Wisconsin, 79, 80, we had what's called AFDC, where a woman was getting a raise every child she got. So if she had another child, she got a raise. She got another child, she got a raise. Rent was not high back then. So a mother getting $600 for 2 kids, $700 something for 3, $800 for 4, you was living good, plus food stamps they was giving, right? So they needed them to be dependent, but the man was still working, but they needed to hinder the man. So let me tell you what they did. They did a program called GA, General Assistance, and they gave the man $175 plus food stamps. But look how they gave it to him. They gave him 105 on the first and 70 on the 15th. So they was getting a free check every 2 weeks. That crippled them. That made them stop working. Yes.
No growth.
No growth. It's free. And look what COVID happened. They started giving out free money that folks stopped going to work.
And then they wonder why they have a hard time getting people to come back to work.
Right. Because it was all designed.
Yeah.
Because if the more people that I stop allowing to work, the bigger I can make government.
Yep.
Because now I got to deal with all these issues, right? And I'm about to tell my age. I was born in 1961, and there was only 5 vaccinations that we had to take in 61. There's over 100 now that they're telling kids got to take. And not only that, but the doctors that's giving the shots, their kids is not even taking them.
Not bad. The doctors know.
Of course.
They know too much.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So my question to you, gentlemen, is this: how do we wake up our brothers?
You gotta tap in. You gotta really tap in. It's like an everyday decision to tap in and become a new lifestyle. You become a wiser, wealthier version of yourself. You know, internally, externally. You know, it starts to manifest in things. You know, like the kind of tree you are, you're gonna start bearing fruits.
Right.
So it's gotta be internal.
Okay, but how do we help our brothers?
I mean,
So
Open it up to speaking. I feel like a lot of people just need to be able to talk more.
Yeah.
People don't want to open up to conversation or anything that's different from what they're used to.
they're
Like I
scared,
said,
they're scared of the
comfort.
ridicule. They're
Right.
scared of the alienating that comes with having your own point of view. That they think that just because if he's a Republican and I'm Democrat, right? Can we debate our ideas, have our differences, and still go grab a coffee after this?
Right.
Or is it just going to be me versus him for the rest of my life?
We
Right.
got to be able to start meeting and having that uncomfortable conversation. Like we said, no growth is going to come from being in a comfortable spot. So uncomfortable conversations, and then open it up to be able to at least take in somebody else's perspective and see something different from what you're used to.
Right.
You can't expect it. like literally the definition of insanity of doing the
Same
same
thing,
thing
thinking you're
over
gonna-
and over
yeah.
again, thinking you're gonna get a different outcome.
And you know,
I didn't know America was insane.
Yeah.
yes, totally, totally.
Look at where we're at.
And I love having those kind of conversations, right? Because somebody come to me and say, so what do you think about abortion? Shouldn't a woman have a right to have an abortion? And I said, well, let me ask you this. Do you think abortion is murder? They say no. I said, okay, then when a person kills a pregnant woman, why is it double homicide then? They won't answer that. So then when they say, well, her body, her choice, then I was like, okay, then in 2020, 2021, when it was our body, our choice, why did people lose their job? Because they chose to protect their body.
Can't answer that.
Can't answer. But it made them think.
Yeah.
Wow, you know what? You're right. Because I never looked at it like that. Why? Because I only looked at it for what they told me.
And a lot of people surround themselves with people who think just like them because it doesn't challenge anything.
Creating tension.
It makes it comfortable.
Yeah, because you know, even with the school system, they indoctrinate our children from K4 to third grade. And they make sure that our kids are not reading by the third grade. So when the kid doesn't read by the third grade, by the time you get to the eighth grade, you might have 7% of them that can read at their grade level, and maybe 8 to 9 can do math at their grade level. By the time they get from eighth grade to graduate or dropping out, they headed to prison. Because that's the system that is designed for them.
That's the funnel.
Yes.
And I've always said the exact same thing. If you can't, and it's usually in the Black community, there are a lot of can't afford, or inner city, they can't afford private school. And I always thought it was weird, me being a younger guy in the South in Louisiana, that, hey, why are all schools built just like prisons? You don't have windows in the classroom. You don't have this, that, and the other.
And you got police walking around.
It's like, yeah, it's cool. You're here to learn.
I'm trying to get your mind to your future.
We learn, and like you said, you want to teach us Black history and all this other victimizing history. Why not teach us how to do math or financing,
Right.
or any of these
Right.
things that you're going to use
How to
going into the
understand
future?
taxes.
Right.
Yeah, but
And they also know that everybody is not college material. So why not do the trades?
I feel like more
I did
people
trade
should
for
do
years.
trade.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can tap in more into the community doing a trade than you're going to be doing, because college, I feel like now is more tailored to just partying and doing stuff that ain't going to be no beneficial to you. Guess what? I feel like, honestly, I do feel like they teach a lot of our Black women to focus more on going to school and stuff like that than focus on finding a person that they really want to be with. Not saying education is a bad thing. I always say continue to learn and grow.
Right.
Read books, do all the stuff, gain all that knowledge from reading books.
Right.
And guess what? You don't start your life off $20,000, $30,000 in debt either.
That's true. And not only that, though, they took away cursive writing from the kids.
I remember that.
So if you can't write in cursive, you can't read it.
Yeah.
So you can't read history.
Because of all-
So now I gotta tell you what this is saying, even though it's not saying that. You know, I love the writings of Frederick Douglass. Oh my God, I got all volumes of Frederick Douglass writings. And then I found out in his writings that Frederick Douglass beat his slave master for 2 hours. 2 hours.
Just beat him up.
Just whooped him. 2 hours. And he also let Frederick Douglass have a business, but of course he took the money, but he allowed him to have it, right? Then I found out Frederick Douglass was fighting for school choice because he wanted his kids to go to the best schools. Frederick Douglass' first wife died, he married a white woman. Nobody touched him. Now here's a Black man in the 1800s, nobody touched him for messing with a white woman.
And then we see him too.
So when we don't pay attention or we don't start looking and start asking questions, why do we have to choose a party? Where did that come from? Because the founding fathers warned us from a two-party system. Okay, and if we're not careful, our country is going to be just like Rome. Rome was destroyed from the inside, not the outside. And so,
It'll be the leaders that we are all looking at right now that'll be the source of our own demise.
right.
It's going to have nothing to do with any of us at this table.
But it's our fault.
Yeah.
For letting it happen.
Yeah, because we voted them in office.
Right.
We
The funny is, I can't even feel good about not voting. There's agreement by silence.
right. So when you look at it, I'll be like, you know what? My spiritual dad taught me one time. He says, if you come up with the problem, I charge you with the solution. And that's why I'm running for governor. I see the problem. You know, I want to fix it where the welfare system in Wisconsin is changed that we don't punish mothers, but we reward them for wanting to get off. But we got to wean them off. We can't just snatch it. That drug dependent is scary. If this is the only way she was feeding her kids, if this is the only way she can have somebody watch her kids while she go to work, and you snatch that, she ain't gonna try no more. That's like running away from the plantation. And since we're talking about Texas, we gotta get the information to them because they kept the slave for 2 whole years.
Yeah, post-slavery. Yeah.
So because they didn't get the
holiday for it.
right, because they didn't get the information, right? So we got to get the information out. Listen, we're going to work with you to help you wing you off the government. So once I start to wing you off, I don't need all of those government programs. So guess what? Now I can shrink government, right? I can add to the health care of Wisconsin. Say, okay, now you can go to see a holistic doctor or a chiropractor. Because I'd rather for you to be healthy than to be sick. You cost me more sick than you do healthy.
Yeah.
Common sense.
But careful, I'm about to say, I'm about to say me being healthy.
That's the fight we got to have.
Yep.
We got to have those fights where we have a healthy state, not a sick state. I don't want to be top 10 of the sickest people in the country.
Right, highest mortality rate.
Yeah, no. Our people need to be able to go see a holistic doctor if they want. They need to try the herbs if they want. They need to go see chiropractors. I had a conversation. I was at the chiropractor and there was some mothers there. So I'm thinking the mother, they just had babies and everything. They going to get adjusted, right? They wasn't there for them. They was there for their babies. And they was adjusting the babies. And the babies were more alert and slept better. They never got in our community. Yes.
Adjusting the baby. I never thought about that.
Yes. The babies, the children, because you got to remember your nerves is connected to your spine. So if any of them pinch, you are valid. Yeah. So all of that to be in line, to have better. Small business owner, entrepreneurs, we need to be there for them. So if the next generation take over the legacy of their family in a business, we need to be there to help them so that business continue to strive. Because government doesn't make jobs. They can't create jobs. Only businesses can create jobs. And we know that small businesses are the ones that's running, keeping this country going. So we got to help them out. We got to help our farmers out. You got family farms and then they got big corporations trying to take over the land. Sometimes we need to do domain and take some of that land back from people that don't even live in our state. Oh, no, you can't come in here. When we in our neighborhood, we ain't letting nobody come in our neighborhood to take over our neighborhood. So why we letting other folks come in our state and take over our state?
Yeah,
I agree.
It's important to keep, like you said, the small businesses are keeping America alive.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I feel like it's important for us to be not only agricultural but economically wise, where we shop with each other. Because you know how the black dollar doesn't stay in the community. But
Not no more.
What is it? 2% of the money?
Yeah.
It's very low.
It's very low. But when I was coming up, the people worked outside of the community, but they spent the money in the community. And that's what made us economically strong. And I think that we can do that with the state, by the farmers. We spend our money with our farmers. That keeps us economically strong. Small businesses in Milwaukee, right? We can flirt with manufacturers. Hey, come back here. We're going to take care of you because we need you to take care of the people. While we're winging mothers off of the welfare, we need to have a financial literacy class with them, teach them how to empower them, how to manage their finance. you know, because we don't have that. We need to figure out some way to try to keep families together. Because I don't know about in Texas, but in Wisconsin, if a family, a husband and wife is struggling, they'll tell the wife to go get a legal separation, and then we can help you. It's all designed to destroy the family.
I was going to say, and what we do, like you said, small business is kind of carrying this economic wisdom, this financial, I guess, growth that we're seeking from our people, and combating that dependence thing, right? And I guess in a different perspective, right? We deal with a lot of employees,
Right.
Folks whose their time is tagged to a number. They know if I'm here for this amount of time, I get this number.
Right.
And it's a level of dependence.
Yeah.
Right. You're now dependent on your salary.
Right.
And we take folks from all walks of life, old, young, rich, poor, just folks who are just trying to do something more for themselves. And we say, hey, look, guess what? That whole, you got this guaranteed thing coming up at the end of the week or in the 2 weeks, it's gone.
Right.
Right. If you don't go out here and do something, you won't get it.
Right. If you ain't producing,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't reaping.
You keep what you kill.
Yeah.
And my thing is, and the funny thing is, it scares a lot of people, but it's kind of designed to, because you're not going to get better if you're comfortable.
Right.
So we remove all the comforts, and next thing you know, we breed entrepreneurs. We breed guys who are real self-thinkers, real problem solvers. And then we start having these kind of conversations, and you notice their thinking's different.
Right.
Because they're no longer feeling like, oh, I have to be dependent on what Uncle Sam's been telling me. Mr. Big Government's been telling me about how I got to do my job and do my 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday.
Right.
Now it's like, no, you're going to go out here, and how you choose to spend your time, how you choose to develop yourself, how you choose to get better, who you choose to put in your network and decide whose influence is going to have some kind of mold on my life.
Right.
That's what's going to determine if you're successful.
Well, it used to be like that in the factories. They used to call it piecework.
Yeah.
We would work. It'd be so funny because we would bust our butt Monday through Tuesday and Wednesday. We done reached our quota. We done got a lot over. Be chilling Thursday and Friday because we done did what we wanted to do, And I think that when you in that kind of mindset, right, I'm going to work smarter, not harder, right? And I tell people, quit looking to get employed and start looking to be deployed. Because then you got something, right? Then and I know it's to a lot of people because they don't see themselves like that. But I know to a lot of people it's scary to be deployed because I'm comforted knowing that Monday through Friday check is going to be there. Them 40 hours going to be there. So I'm okay with that. But I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. I need play money. I need to do what I need to do. Bills is paid and I can play.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, gentlemen, any final thoughts? We went over. I knew we was, but we went over 30, but that's fine.
We appreciate you. We really
I'm
appreciate you.
I'm glad
for the opportunity.
y'all got to come back. Y'all gotta come back.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
You got any final words?
Yeah, I just feel like it's important that we spend money with each other. That's exactly why I got into app development. The app we created allows everyone to spend money in their own communities, find entrepreneurs within their communities and shop with them and sell their own services. I feel like that's what we need to do is have some self-control when it comes to our finances. So if we have any skills that we can sell, it's time to get off our butts and make sure that those skills are being sold and optimized as much as we can while we're here and see what the results are, because that consistency plus preparation meets opportunity. It's something that you got to do for yourself and your family. Change your legacy.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's like we said at the beginning of this podcast, right? Men are the heads of the household.
Yes.
Everybody worries about, and we're not trying to open up a new can of worms here, right? It says in the Bible, and I'm gonna leave it at that, right? Wives submit to their husbands as their husbands submit to God.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, however we feel about it, it starts with us.
It does.
So, like my man Jeremiah said here, like Dr. King said, like Brandon said, like I've said, get off the porch.
Get off the porch.
Whatever it is you're gonna decide to do in this life, just do it. If you're scared to fail, do it scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, failure ain't nothing like regret.
That's it.
absolutely.
So I'll say, finally, definitely appreciate you having us. Anything, we definitely have to get out of the victim mindset. I would say we got to start communicating with each other more. Just be open to those conversations. And if anything, like obviously we know this stuff is hard, it's not comfortable, but if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
So
right.
at this
We
point,
be
we
having this
have to
conversation.
change things. We have to change things and actually just push and test ourselves to be better than we were yesterday.
All right, y'all heard it. We'll be back this week, probably. We'll see. I got to bring them back because we got to have some more conversation on
Friday.
manhood. We got a lot to talk about.
Here, quick plug, actually. Man by the name of David Daniels, my father. YouTube, Manhood University. You
Ooh.
want to talk about getting off the porch? He's got 4 seasons worth of material on there. Go look it up.
Okay. Okay.
All right, go look it up. So until next time, I'm going to say God bless you guys and talk to you soon.